call Josh McAllister to make his maiden speech.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I want to pay tribute to the fantastic maiden speeches that we've heard across the House this evening, including to the member for Didcot and Wantage, and I'm sure the whole House will be reassured to know he indeed is not an alien. The first and only time I entered this chamber before being sworn in as a Member of Parliament was as a secondary school citizenship teacher to bring dozens of teenagers here to see their Parliament. On that occasion, I was required to use my teacher voice on a number of occasions, but that's not something I plan to make a habit of in this House. I'd like to begin by putting on the record my thanks to my predecessor for the Copeland, now abolished constituency, Trudy Harrison. We may disagree on matters of policy, but she has been unfailingly gracious to me and generous with her time, demonstrating the country before party approach we can all learn so much from. I may be new to this House, but I'm not new to pushing governments to get things done, something members of the opposition benches will know only too well, and there's been a number of former education secretaries who I've worked with over the years. I founded and led a national charity to get more people into fulfilling careers on the front line of children's social work, to ensure that every vulnerable child has a champion fighting their corner. From that, I was asked by the last government to chair a landmark independent review into the children's social care system. This review led me to find that the disadvantage faced by the care experience community in our country should be the civil rights issue of our time. Evidence of that disadvantage is found in worse education outcomes, worse health outcomes, and shorter lives lived. But that disadvantage is fuelled by something politicians often find too hard to discuss, and certainly MPs find too hard to mention in this chamber, which is the absence of love. And I believe every child has the right to be loved, and we've got the ability to build a care system that can provide it for them. I hope this Parliament will take up the challenge of addressing this moral outrage. The problem is huge, but the solutions are known, and with enough will, tens of thousands of lives can be transformed. It is a great honour and privilege to stand here as the first Member of Parliament for the new Whitehaven and Workington constituency. Whether it's the people of Whitehaven or the good people of Workington, who are the jam eaters, continues to be a source of fierce debate. I, of course, will remain neutral on that question, as I will on all rugby league-related matters. Nowhere is more blessed than my constituency, home to the highest peak and the deepest lake in England, with miles of beautiful coastline and the stunning western part of the Lake District that's inspired millions. And let me here pay special tribute to our amazing mountain rescue volunteers, RNLI volunteers who just this week will be celebrating their 200th anniversary, and all those who give up their time to volunteer in search and rescue services. Yeah. I have an interest to declare in this matter as a serving mountain rescue volunteer, and I will champion volunteer search and rescue services at every opportunity. Behind the doors of the towns and villages across my constituency, you'll find the warmest and friendliest Maras in the country. People forged by the drama and confidence of the surrounding landscape. People with humility, respect and determination at their core. People like Gary McKee, who ran a marathon every day for a year to raise over £1 million for cancer support. The growing network of Andy's Man Clubs in our community, tackling the crisis my area faces on male suicide. Community leaders like Rachel Holliday of Calderwood House, giving people a route out of homelessness. Our area has also forged those who weren't born West Cumbrian, but who made our corner of the world their home. Pioneers and entrepreneurs like Frank Shon, later Baron Shon of Whitehaven. Frank was an Austrian refugee who fled the Nazis, was bombed out of London, and was taken in by a kind Cumbrian farmer. He went on to set up and lead a global chemicals company based in Whitehaven before later chairing Harold Wilson's Development Corporation and going on to serve in the other place. Today, my community is home to dozens of Ukrainian families that could, well indeed, have the next Frank Sean in them. I hope we can offer those that wish to stay a permanent home here in this country. Lord Sean is one famous example, but there are thousands of men and women like him, from Whitehaven to Workington, Gosforth to Egremont, Cleatormore to Seascale, Flimby and Seaton in the north of the constituency. Pioneers and entrepreneurs and grafters who helped West Cumbria to lead the world. It is because of this graft that mine is the constituency that's home to the UK New Balance trainer factory. I'm not wearing them right now. The Iggesund paper mill, which has been experimenting with leading carbon capture technology. It's home to Forth Engineering and React Engineering, and hundreds of other businesses represented by Britain's Energy Coast business cluster. From the coal and iron to the steelworks, and of course the world's first civil nuclear power station at the site now famously known as Sellafield. Home to a world-leading decommissioning mission, which is stimulating innovation in robotics and AI. We led the world, and we can again. We've got the people, the will, the determination, and now, thankfully, the government to do it. Our nuclear heritage and our skilled workforce have what it takes to be the ideal location for the next generation of nuclear power. The government's determination to make the most of new jobs in the energy transition, to reform our broken planning system, and to decarbonise the grid. These three things offer the opportunity for the people of Whitehaven and Workington to fly. A Labour government with a proper industrial strategy and the right targeted investment could completely transform the economic geography of my community. These are decisions which need to be made to create the growth we have promised and to tackle the climate crisis our planet faces. I'm determined to play my part to deliver this Labour government's mission and to ensure that West Cumbria feels the maximum possible benefit of the change we want to bring about for our country.
Yeah.